Electric e-bike safety. So e-bike safety is on the top of mind for many local elected officials. That includes Erie County Lieutenant Jeremy Lenning and Clarence Town Supervisor Patrick Casilio, as many kids and families are hitting the streets for the summer.
We're seeing these things pretty much everywhere. They're joining us to talk a little bit about it, you guys. One of the things that we wanted to reach out for this was because we are seeing local leaders like yourselves starting initiatives to make this a safer practice. Let's start first with the presumption that these things are just like scooters and they're safe. Tell us why they're not, and tell us why they're almost killing children and adults in Western New York.
Well, essentially with the e-bikes, they're kind of like a hybrid between, say, a dirt bike and just a normal bike. So in this area of the state, it has to stop providing an electric charge or an electric push once you hit 20 miles per hour. However, you're seeing a lot of these bikes are just done in build-outs. So they're pieced together, and there's essentially no type of governor. So the kids that are operating these bikes are actually able to go faster than they normally are.
Wow.
What speeds, Lieutenant, are we seeing these things going on our streets?
We've tried to intervene several occasions on, say, bike paths, roadways in the town of Clarence, and they will oftentimes speed away at approximately 30 miles per hour with ease.
That's so dangerous. What are you seeing in your town, Supervisor? I mean, we're seeing these pretty much in all kinds of neighborhoods. A lot of space out there in Clarence. Yeah. What are you guys seeing out there?
Well, they're going down bike trails where people are walking at up to 30 miles an hour. And certainly we don't want to see anybody hurt, so we really can't chase them down. But even when we have conversations with them, they're very defiant about the use of trails and public roads. And the sheriff deputy will tell you that they run down the streets also with no headlights on in the middle of the night, also at those high speeds.
Are these legal on those bike paths, by the way?
In the town of Clarence, we're making provisions starting tomorrow night to make them illegal at a certain size. Basically, we're looking for pedals on bikes. So we're limiting to that because we have a lot of electric dirt bikes running around at a very high rate of speed also.
All right, so what will this provision entail? Exactly what will be allowed and what will not be allowed?
First of all, we're trying to give law enforcement a better tool to work with these people. When they've caught up with them, they've asked parents to come and take the bikes home. We're making provisions that we can impound the bikes if they're caught on our bike trail. But basically for us, if it doesn't have pedals on it, it shouldn't be on the bike trail.
Lieutenant, beyond Clarence in Erie County, we're seeing these things, especially in Buffalo. They zip all over the place. It behooves drivers, as they're approaching intersections now, to take an extra peek, because these things are zipping all over the place. Supervisor, you bring up a really good point. What are parents saying when there is that interdiction with law enforcement, when they have to stop and say, hey, little Jimmy or Susie was going way too fast and almost killed themselves or almost hit a car or did hit a car? What's the response?
So the response is from law enforcement. We're trying not to make it a punitive response. We're trying to make it more of an educational response. That way the parents understand exactly what's going on and what their children are doing. For example, you have to be 16 years of age in New York State to operate an e-bike. It's recommended highly that you wear a helmet, but a lot of these parents are not entirely aware of where their kids are or what they're doing on these bikes.
What is legal versus what is illegal beyond the age restrictions there?
You cannot operate an e-bike on a bike path unless it has pedals. You cannot operate an e-bike on any street or highway that has a speed limit higher than 30 miles per hour. If you're riding at night, it needs to have an active headlight and also reflectors on the back of the bike.
Are you hearing from residents? I imagine you do, for people who both use the walking paths and the bike trails, and for people who are on the street. I imagine the feedback is not great.
Our residents are complaining about it because of the high rate of speed, and many of them are traveling in herds. So you'll have 3 or 4 abreast running down the bike trail, forcing walkers, people pushing baby strollers off the trail so they can run by at a high rate of speed.
I kind of know what you're talking about because there's a lot on Elmwood.
Yeah.
And we're pulling in. I have to be so careful to Channel 4. There's a lot around here. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Supervisor Lieutenant, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.